66 million years ago, a world very different from our own. This is the Late Cretaceous, a time of giants and a time of cataclysmic change. Today, we journey to the far north of the North American continent, a place we now know as Alaska. But back then, it was a land teetering on the edge of an ancient polar circle. Not a barren wasteland of ice, but a vast, seasonal forest of conifers and ferns, plunged into months of twilight and freezing temperatures during the long polar winter. Life here was tough, and survival depended on one thing: movement. As the last rays of the autumn sun kissed the horizon, a great journey began. This is one of the most spectacular events of the Cretaceous, the Great Dinosaur Migration. Herds of Edmontosaurus, giant duck-billed hadrosaurs, stretched 4 miles. These were the titans of the north, some weighing as much as a modern elephant. Alongside them marched the armored Edmontonia, tanks of the Cretaceous world, and herds of the horned Pachyrhinosaurus. Their magnificent, bony frills and bosses, a sight to behold. They were all driven by a singular, primal instinct: escape the coming darkness and the brutal, resource-scarce winter. Their destination: warmer, more bountiful lands to the south. Their path was ancient, carved into the landscape over thousands of generations. It followed river valleys and coastal plains, a lifeline through a treacherous land. But this lifeline had bottlenecks, and one of the most perilous was a narrow, strait, a channel of frigid water separating two land masses. Here, the vast herds were forced to funnel together, creating a scene of immense congestion and vulnerability. The herbivores knew this place was dangerous, their instincts screaming a warning. But there was no other way. This was the choke point. And where there are vulnerable prey, predators are never far behind. Watching from the shadowy fringes of the conifer forests, a different kind of dinosaur waited. They were smaller, more agile, but no less formidable. This was a pack of Nanuqsaurus, the polar bear lizard. These were a specialized type of tyrannosaur, smaller than their southern cousin, T-Rex, but perfectly adapted to this harsh environment. Their compact bodies conserved heat and a keen sense of smell. Perhaps the best of any tyrannosaur, allowed them to detect prey from miles away. They were intelligent, they were patient, and they were very, very hungry. The Nanuqsaurus pack knew the migration schedule better than any animal in this kingdom. This strait wasn't just a crossing for the herbivores. For the hunters, it was a dinner table. The alpha of the pack, a battle-scarred male with a distinctive notch in his brow ridge, watched intently. He had led his family here for years. He knew the timing was everything. Attacking the main body of the herd was suicide. The sheer number and weight of the herbivores would crush them. The key was to isolate the weak, the young, the old, or the unwary. As the first groups of Pachyrhinosaurus began to tentatively step into the shallow, icy water, the tension in the air was palpable. The pack remained motionless, hidden shadows in the twilight. They were waiting for the perfect moment. Suddenly, a young Edmontosaurus, separated from its mother in the jostling crowd, let out a panicked cry. It was the signal. The alpha Nanuqsaurus let out a low, guttural call, and the hunt began. They didn't charge head-on. Instead, they used a sophisticated strategy. 2 members of the pack burst from the tree line, not to attack, but to create chaos. They ran along the edge of the herd, roaring and snapping, forcing the herbivores to bunch even tighter, pushing them further into the water and creating panic. The herd was now a maelstrom of confusion. In the chaos, more animals became separated. An old Edmontonia, lagging at the rear, found itself cut off. This was the alpha's target. He and the rest of the pack exploded from their cover, moving with terrifying speed. They ignored the stronger animals, their eyes locked on the lone angle. The Edmontonia was a fortress on legs, covered in bony plates and spikes. It hunkered down, swinging its heavy, clubless tail as a warning. But the Nanuqsaurus were masters of this game. They were too quick, too coordinated. They darted in and out, testing its defenses, looking for an opening. One of the younger pack members got too close and received a powerful shove that sent it stumbling. But the distraction worked. As the Edmontonia focused on one attacker, the Alpha lunged from the other side. Tyrannosaur teeth were not just for slicing, they were for crushing them. The Alpha locked its powerful jaws onto the Edmontonia's unprotected leg, the immense pressure-shattering bone. Instantly, the armored giant roared in pain and collapsed. The fight was over almost as soon as it began. The pack swarmed in, their job done. They had secured a meal that would sustain them for weeks, a vital victory in the relentless battle for survival in this polar world. As the Nanuqsaurus pack began to feed, the rest of the herbivore herd pushed onward, the sounds of the struggle fading behind them. They had lost one of their own, but the Great Migration could not stop. For every life lost, thousands more would reach the safety of the South, ensuring the continuation of their species. This brutal, dramatic ambush wasn't an act of cruelty. It was a fundamental part of the ecosystem. It was the intricate, violent, and magnificent dance of life and death that played out for millions of years. The scene at the Strait was a perfect illustration of the pressures that shaped these incredible animals. The herbivores evolved immense size and defensive armor to protect themselves, while the predators evolved intelligence, pack hunting strategies, and specialized adaptations to overcome those defenses. The Nanuqsaurus, the polar hunter, was a testament to the incredible adaptability of the Tyrannosaur lineage, thriving in an environment their more famous relatives could never endure. This incredible drama, played out under the dim light of a polar sun, reminds us that the world of the dinosaurs was far more complex and diverse than we often imagine. It wasn't just a tropical jungle. It was a world of vast, interconnected ecosystems, each with its own unique challenges and its own unique champions, from the migrating giants to the patient, intelligent hunters who lay in wait. The story of the dinosaurs is a story of adaptation, of struggle, and of survival on an epic scale. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey back to the Cretaceous North. What an incredible world it was. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the past, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into the prehistoric world. Let us know in the comments which dinosaur you'd like to see us cover next. Until next time, keep exploring.